Yo, hello. Welcome to this time. It will be less of a lore discussion stream and more so a lore reading stream. How are you guys doing? It's been a while since our last Star Rail stream. It's good to be back. Hello AP, hello. Okay, so I've been trying to catch up with the lore of Honkai Star Rail, and I realized that I never really touched the data bank and the character voice lines and the character files there. So I thought to myself, if I will go through them anyways, why not stream it? Because I don't know, maybe some of you will want to are interested in them and will want to learn more about the characters with me. So yeah, let me know how's the audio. It is too loud, because I messed around with the sound settings again before the stream and I have no idea how it sounds. Audio's fine, perfect, awesome. Okay, so we will start today with a bit of a account showcase, account update, since last time I streamed Star Rail I was still, I think it was when I started the Lofu storyline, so it's been a while. As you can see right now I'm Trailblaze level 62. Yeah, and I got a lot of characters that I want to showcase, and after that we'll be jumping into the reading. I don't know if we will finish all the characters, most likely we will not. But I'll try to do as many as I can. And for the characters that I don't have at level 80, which is the majority of them, because it's not cheap to get a character to level 80, we will go to Star Rail Station and we will read the missing lore there. And I don't know, after we will be done reading, maybe I will do a run of Simulated Universe or something. May I ask a non-Star Rail question? If authority of origin is not connected to finality, does that mean that May won't lose her core? Okay, you can ask me any questions. It doesn't need to be related to Star Rail only, but if you don't ask me, if you're asking something Honkai Impact related, don't ask any spoilery questions that is related to chapters 38 and 39. And to answer the question, Origin is related to finality. It's a bit of a weird situation with Origin and finality, but Origin also comes from the cocoon of finality, or at least that's what they imply. And they told us that all the Herrscher core will fade away with Kiana siphoning the Honkai energy on the moon. So I think that the authority of origin will also go away, since we see APHO May is not able to use. May is only able to use some remnants from her Herrscher of Thunder authority, but she doesn't have any core. Is there going to be any spoiler in this stream? I have not completed Yanqing quest yet, only Bailu and Luocha. No, don't worry. I do not plan to talk about anything related to the character companion quests. We'll only read the lore that we have in the databank. Hello, Gray. Same, only got my 2 US in level 80 lol. Yes, I don't know. I also have only two characters at 80. Yeah, I also went with my 2 main DPS, which are Seele and Jin Yang. Hello, Neon Demon. Okay, so I guess we can start with the account showcase. Just wanna say your videos on Honkai Impact Earth helped me understand a lot about the lore. Thanks a lot. I'm happy to hear that anime is culture. I'm happy to hear that. That's why I made them. Oh, and regarding my videos, some of you have been asking me on Twitter if I'm going to make some Star Rail related videos in the future, and yes, I am planning to start a video that is specifically about Star Rail, not Honkai Impact Earth, but I don't know when it will be out, because this month is gonna be a very big month for the channel, because I have a lot of things planned, and I'm working on a very big video series that I will hopefully announce sometimes next week or maybe the week after. And I also have other projects that I'm very excited to share with you guys, but I'm not sure when I'll be able to do that. But yeah, for those of you who were asking me, yes, a Star Rail video is planned for the near future, but I don't know exactly when. Hello, Ayato. Hello. Okay, so let's start with the account showcase. As you have seen, Trailblazer level 62. Okay, so I've got pretty much every limited 5-star characters in Seele. Because for those of you who were here when I streamed my pulls, I got very lucky and got both Seele and Jeopard in the same 10 pull. And after that, I won the 50-50 with Jin Wang, I won the 50-50 with Silver Wolf, and I also won the 50-50 with Luocha. So I haven't lost a 50-50 yet. I mean, I lost with Jeopard, but it was in the same temple as Seele, so it doesn't really count. So yeah, I've been very lucky with these characters, and especially with Silver Wolf and Luocha, which are different variants of Honkai Impact Earth characters, which I really wanted. I don't really care about Kafka and Blade that much. So I don't mind if I lose my 50-50. I will try to go for Blade, of course, because I said that I really need a wind damage dealer. But if I lose the 50-50 on him, I don't really care that much. Hi, I really like your videos. May I recommend one on Captain Verse since it's coming back in the future updates, and Otto because I'm a fanboy. Eroica, I have a video on Otto. If you go back, if you go to my channel and search to my videos, you will find a video about Otto. And about Captain Verse, I keep saying that I want to do one, but it's very hard. It's a lot of information. We have Sacron here in chat, who is the god of the Captain Verse. So when I'll do that video, I will need your help. That's for sure, because it's a mess and I don't want to mess it up. Kinda disappointed that the big document only had one passing mention of the Captain Verse, since that's the one thing I know a good amount. Yeah, but like I said, I plan to get to the Captain Verse someday, and if they keep shoving Captain Verse in the events like they do now, I'll be forced to do it sooner rather than later. Okay, so my two level 80 characters, like I said, are my two main damage dealers, which are Seele and Jin Yuang. As you can see, for Seele, I kinda unlocked everything related to her traces. I still need to level up a few, but she's pretty decent. She could use a bit more crit damage. And my relics are not the best, but honestly I'm not really that big into farming relics yet. I try to build some of my characters to a decent point. I'll usually stop when the character is decent. It doesn't have the best relics, but they are workable. Same with Jin Yuan. I kinda unlocked everything that it's important. Same with the relics, they are just decent. Also, I'm using this, I think this is the BP light cone, yeah. And for Seele I have her own light cone. And I also ascended basically Silver Wolf, but I didn't level her up, since leveling up a character past this point is very costly, and I don't think that it's worth it for supports or healers. So yeah, I left her to that level. I still have to unlock some of her talents. Again, just okay relics. And of course Luocha is, honestly, he's a game changer for me, because the only healer I had previously was only Natasha. I didn't have Bailu, so after I got Luocha, honestly my team just doesn't die. The difference between the two is like night and day. And I also have Jeopard, which he can very well keep your team alive just by himself, but with Luocha in the team you don't even have to worry about healing. Oh yeah, relic farming is a myth, the talents never end. Yeah, honestly, I don't really know what's more worth it, but from how I see it, investing in talents, for me it seems that it's worth more than just spending your time on relics that are not very good. And I didn't even fully build Luocha. These relics are just placeholders for now. Are not very good, and he's still able to keep my entire team alive. So yeah, I also have Welt. Welt was my first 5-star on the standard banner. Yeah, I haven't used Welt that much lately. Ever since I got Luocha, I basically use him for imaginary. And I prefer to use Silver Wolf over Whelp nowadays, so even Tingyon. Jeopard. Landau's Choice. Again, not the best relics. I don't think that I even farm for this set specifically. It was I think it is bundled together with Jin Yuang's relic set, and I just put on Jeopard some leftovers for when I farm for Jing Yan. And Natasha, but I don't really... I mean, I use her in the Memory of Chaos, you know, on my second team. But yeah, and that's it. The rest, I haven't really leveled up that much. Sushang, I used her in the beginning, but I don't really use her right now. Same with Serval. Once I got Jin Wang, I stopped using her. I want to work on Pella. Because I saw that she's also very good. But God forbid, the resources in these games are a hell to manage. I had Aro, also me gets luocha. I mean, he's technically not Aro, so yeah. I don't know, maybe luocha is a good guy. I got Bronia's Lightcon in the standard banner with 30 pull, and ever since my account was cursed, I hope winning luocha's 50-50 broke it. Yeah, I'm afraid, because I was very lucky with my 50-50 streak so far. So I keep telling myself that from now on I will most likely lose all of them. Since I won, I think, I won 4 50-50s in a row, technically. So I'm expecting a period of bad luck to compensate for that. I never thought of luocha as sus until 1.1 live stream where they constantly talked about how sus he was. I mean, for me, he was pretty sus even in the story. I mean, anybody carrying a coffin with him is sus by default. But yeah, they really try to point him as someone with ulterior motives, and I still think that he is related with to the situation in Shenzhou somehow, maybe not directly, but he's definitely not only just here for sightseeing or just to carry a coffin for no reason. What I'm curious about is if Welt is the real Welt from Honkai Impactor, but everyone else is just Honkai Impactor characters redesigned with their own personality and such. Doesn't that mean that Welt must have traveled? I mean, it's confirmed that Welt is the same from Honkai Impact 3rd. Just go to his information and you can see here. Not here, I think it's in the data bank. Let me see, characters, well... yeah. The wise and experienced former anti-entropy sovereign who inherited the name of the world Welt. Basically, they confirm it here that he is the same Welt from Honkai Impact 3rd. And we learn how he traveled from the Alien Space manga. But there is a bit of a contention point with that manga, because at the end of Alien Space, he's saved by Shigure Kira and Nigurat from the Sky People's spaceship, and theoretically he's brought back to Earth. But from the description that Himeko gives us about how she encountered Welt, and it's not just me Um, Agni, thank you very much for becoming a member. I truly appreciate it. It's not just me, other people from the Honkai lore community think that they might have retconned the ending of the Alien Space, and instead of Shigure Kira and Nigurat, it was actually Himeko who came and rescued Welt and Void Archives, but we don't know for sure. That's just a theory, that's just a theory based on the things we know and the descriptions that we have in the game. But we won't know for sure until they will go into more details about this. Hopefully they will do at some point and not just leave it like a mystery. And regarding the other characters, they are basically different variants of the characters that we have in Honkai Impact than the GGZ from other worlds. Have been meaning to join for a while, lol. Thank you. I really appreciate it. I was trying to wrap my head around how Alien Space Ending connected with Star Rail, though I was missing something, Lemao. Yeah. Like I said, we do not know for sure, but them retconning the ending seems like the most likely thing that would explain why Welt and Void Archives are here, and it will also align with Himeko's description about how she was able to find them. Howdy, I hope you're doing well. Do you think that we'll see Callan as well, like outside of Luocha's coffin? I have no idea. I don't think so, honestly. Because I don't think that Callan is in that... a Callan variant is in that coffin. Because Luocha's description of the person that's in the coffin is very strange, because he basically implies that, yes, he knew the person, but they weren't very, very close. And I would imagine if the person would be a Callan variant, he would be a lot closer to them. But also we have his companion quests, which is also a bit strange and implies that maybe he lied when he said that they were not very close. I don't know, it's still a mystery. We'll have to wait and see, but I'm sure that they won't reveal much about Luocha in this arc, and he will probably be a reoccurring character that will, since he is a traveling merchant, that will keep reappearing through different stories, and they will keep drip feeding us more and more information about him as the story progresses. I wonder when they will explore a new Callan story, like in Honkai Impact 3. Surely they will. I have no idea. I would like to see a new Callan story. Maybe, I don't know, make an event about the new timeline that Ado created at the end of chapter 26 or something like that. Because it has been a while since we last got a Callan battlesuit, right? I think the last one was 6th Serenade, and that was 2 point something, so yeah, quite a few years. Anyone sus of Sempo for breaking the fourth wall? I mean, yeah, I think everybody is sus of Sempo. He's also a very fascinating character. It's not Mihoyo's style to do big retcons like that, though. Doesn't it seem more likely that Welt went back into space or got sidetracked on The Way Home. Sky People are talked about as a past thread. Yeah, like I said, that was just a theory I had to make sense of all the explanations we got. Because the other explanation would be, okay, he returned home and find another way to go to Himeko's world, which is, again, very strange because we got Reborn 2 and a lot of people associated the timeline like after Alien Space, Reborn 2, and after that Star Rail, but all the evidence that we have point to the fact that Reborn 2 is most likely not canon and is just a concept trailer for an early idea that they had for Star Rail. But yeah, like I said, until they don't come and say for sure, we can only theorize. What do you think about Sampo being the last Stellaron hunter who's called Sam? I mean, it's definitely a possibility. I won't deny that, especially since Sam, Sampo, and like we've seen in Luofu with the entire deal with Kafka and Blade, this whole journey that we embark on as the Trailblazer is a script basically laid down by Elio, so I wouldn't be surprised if we encounter a different Stellaron hunter on every world that we visit, put there by Elio to make sure that the script is going as it should be. Like we have Kafka and Blade in Luofu, it would make sense for Sampo to also be a Stellaron hunter, making sure that everything goes according to the script in Belobog. So yeah, that's definitely a possibility. Hey Ahomu Labs, I found you from your intro of Welt in Honkai Star Rail. Do you have any characters from Honkai Impact you hope to see in Honkai Star Rail? I feel like we may see Little Joyce looking for Welt. Are you referring to characters like Welt who come directly from Honkai Impact into Honkai Star Rail? Honestly, not really, but I'm interested to see what Void Archives is up to, because we know that he also traveled with Welt to this game, but he left the Express at some point. So I'm really curious about what's his deal. Do you think a masked foe could also be a Stellaron hunter? I mean, I don't see why not. I think that a person could be part of multiple factions at the same time. Especially since the Stellaron hunters are very mysterious. We don't even know if they are affiliated with any Eon yet. They may be just a random faction that it's following Elio's scripts. So I can definitely see a scenario in which Sampo could be both a masked foe and a Stellaron hunter at the same time. It would be interesting if APHO characters entered the Honkai Star Rail verse to help Welt and the Astro Express group. Yeah, but I don't think that will happen because I'm sure that the smart thing for them to do is to keep the two games as separated as possible and not directly link them too much, because they will create a lot of FOMO like that, because this is the reality. We have to understand that a big part of the Honkai Star Rail player base doesn't play Honkai Impact 3rd, so this would be very confusing for them. I don't think they will do many direct interactions between the two games, at least for now. And if they'll do it, maybe through some events or something like that, like we had the Honkai X Genshin collab in the past. I don't know, but I don't see them bringing any more characters from Honkai Impact directly into Star Rail. Hey Homo, I know that we are fairly early into the game, but are there any planets you are excited to visit in Honkai Star Rail? Let me think about it. Any planets that I'm excited to visit? I mean, there were a few that were teased, like the planet that where initially we were supposed to go to before we got wrapped into the whole Lofu mess. I think it's Penacony or something like that, where it's a planet where the family resides, and by the description of it, it seems very interesting, since that planet used to be some sort of prison used by the IPC in the past, and is now part of the family. So yeah, I'm hoping that after Lofu ends, maybe we'll get the chance to visit that world. Yeah, exactly. That's the planet I was talking about. Homo Labs, which eons do you think is scary and eerie if you really think deeply about it? For me, one of it is Seele, Harmony. Since from the lore I read, it seems to kind of brainwashing eon. I mean, all of them are scary. I mean, Nanook is the embodiment of destruction itself, set to literally kill anybody on the spot. So yeah, he also seems very scary. Lan seems very scary. Also, Yaosha is also very scary, but more in a creepy way. I don't know. All of them are scary in one way or another. Even Aha just doing random things, blowing things up for fun, or giving a random space where powers equivalent to an emanator. Yeah, as long as you don't piss Lan, you should be fine. But yeah, okay, let's get into the lore of the characters, since I think this was enough of an intro. We will talk about other theories that we have about the characters after we read a little. Okay, so I'll try my best. My voice was a bit iffy these past few days. Hopefully this streaming session won't be too much of a toll for me. But yeah, let's start with Welt, since he is also the only character we have right now in the data bank that's also from Honkai Impact 3rd. And we'll keep going on about... I don't have a particular order, but I think I will choose characters that seem more interesting to me right now as the story develops. After Welt, I think we'll do luocha. I also want Dan Heng, since his 5-star version was just announced in version 1.3, so I'm curious if we can find something that may hint at that in his lore. Yeah, so let's start with Welt. Character introduction. A seasoned member of the Express crew, the passion buried in his heart burns anew as he enjoys this fresh adventure. Occasionally he would sketch the experience in a notebook. Okay, we will also do voice lines, but only the interactive voices. I won't do the combat ones.
Hi, I'm Wel Yang. If there's something you need help with, you can come find me anytime. Still half asleep? Don't force yourself. You should get some more rest. Can't sleep? I understand. Inspiration always comes knocking in the small hours. It's hard to ignore, right? I was an animator for 8 years. My life was pretty routine. I guess it was a little dull compared with adventuring, but work is a very worthwhile thing.
Okay, so
it brings dreams to life.
Here he's talking about the 8 years period between the end of part 1 in Honkai Impact 3rd and the APHO storyline. Because you know that in that timeline he opened up an animation studio called Reason Studio, and he worked with Bronya on many projects there as an animator, and he even helped Bronya make some games. And it's funny because he's talking about the small part of his life when he was an animator, and he's not talking about the fact that he was the sovereign of the anti-entropy and he fought against the Honkai for so many years. No, when somebody asks him about his past, he's like, I was an animator, nothing too big. Reasons for boarding the express.
It's a long story, and it involves a lot of people and incidents that everyone would like to forget about. Best not to talk about it. In essence, I got lost in the universe, but was fortunate enough to come across Himiko driving the express.
Okay, and I want to talk about this voice line because Hoyostens brought up the point that they don't really retcon story beats that are this important, and this voice line also again reinforces the fact that it might be a retcon, because he talks about the fact that he was lost in the universe, essentially in space, and that he was lucky enough to come across Himeko driving the express, which again aligns with the end of Alien Space, where he and Void Archives were basically lost and helpless, if not for, in the manga, Shigure Kira and the Sugars. But again, this is also a point. I'm not saying that they retcon it. Maybe they didn't. It's just a theory.
Oh, there's a lot to say there. They only aired that series on my home world. I don't know if there's anywhere else in the universe that'd have it. I can use my mimicry power to show you a few episodes, but I can't guarantee the resolution.
Okay, this voice lines also has some interesting things. First, he talks about Arahato, which is a anime series, about a mecha anime series that he made back in his old world in Honkai Impact 3rd to gather fundings for anti-entropy. And he talks about the fact that it only aired in his home world. But I always thought if we ever come across a welt from another world, because there most likely are multiple welts somewhere in this vast universe, we are bound to find another welt. If that version of Welt also made Arahato, or a series similar to Arahato. And also he talks about his mimicry powers, which is basically the power of the Herrscher of Reason, which as long as he understands the composition of something, he can reproduce that item with his powers. And this gives us a very important piece of information, and that's the fact that he's still able to use his Herrscher powers even on the Express. Now, we do not know how much he's able to use. My guess would be that he is nowhere near the power level that he was during Second Eruption when he fought Sirin, or not even when the Sea of Quantark, when he gave Bronya the core for the first time. But it's nice to see that he is still able to use those powers. Now, we do not know if he still has the core of reason, which he shouldn't have, because Kiana said that all the cores will dim away because she's siphoning the Honkai energy. But in the alien space, Void Archives mentions that Welt has the core. Again, we do not know if they retconned something here after Chapter 35 came out or not, or if he has the core, or he's just using residual powers, because we know that Herschers can still use a bit of their powers even after they don't have the cores anymore, like we've seen with May multiple times in the main story when she fought Raven, and even in APHO she was able to use a bit of her Hersher of Thunder powers even though she didn't have the core anymore. But yeah, I think they mentioned in yesterday live stream that Welt will finally show us his powers in the next story mission. So that's interesting for sure. I'm very curious how much of Welt powers will they show us.
Researching history and producing animations. I'd say they go hand in hand. You know, you remind me of the main character in a cartoon or something. You seem to attract companions out of thin air. I hope you don't mind me saying that. It's just... It seems like my own chances of going on an adventure have plummeted again.
Okay, so he's a bit petty about us, because since we came, since the Trailblazer came onto the Express, he sees less action, and we know that Welt always likes to do stuff, right? To be in the middle of the action, to be part of the adventure, and he seems a bit annoyed that we kinda took that away from him since we joined the Express.
My home was corroded by a force known as Honkai, but that hasn't stopped it from being a warm and beautiful world.
Okay, so this is one of the few mentions of the Honkai in the game. And it's interesting how he phrases this. I don't really know how it's in Chinese, I'll have to look it up, but he basically calls it a force, meaning that he kinda separates the Honkai from Eons and from other known forces from Honkai Star Rail. And again, I will talk about this more in future videos, but it's interesting to point this out, because we know that Honkai is something different. Honkai, we learn that is a force that basically comes from outside it's implied to come from outside the universe, and it's a force that basically traps different worlds in a samsara for various reasons, most likely to harvest energy for it being able to travel. That's more in line with GGZ's explanation. In Honkai Impact 3, they talked about how they tried to force the evolution of humanity into being similar to Honkai and try to assimilate them. I mean, that works for both GGZ and Honkai Impact 3. But yeah, I think this line shows us very well that the forces that we encounter in Honkai Star Rail are not really the Honkai. They may be similar, yes, but they are not the Honkai. Otherwise, well, it would have been referred to it in a different manner. But from this line, it seems that he recognizes Honkai as something different. Homolabs, can you count current era Sakura as a form? After she gave the previous era 12 core to Teresa to cure her, she lost her physical body and lived inside the stigma space. So that means that she is a form? I don't get it. In a way, the thing about the whole Sakura Samsara and the whole story arc with Sakura is that it's a very, very early story. And when they came up with that storyline, I don't think they had the concept of form very, very clearly established how they have now. So it's very hard to correlate her with what we know a form is today, like Mistaline, like Red Seele. Honestly, I don't know. I guess you can look at her like that, but I honestly wouldn't think about it that much. I don't think that Sakura's story is very relevant to the current storyline of Honkai Impact 3rd.
Do you know how the followers of Klapoth the Preservation became the Interastral Peace Corporation? The Eon wanted to build a wall, and humanity started searching for building materials so they could follow in Klapoth's footsteps. It's pretty funny when you think about it. March is curious about everything, and she's always getting me to do combat poses. She thinks I pull them off pretty well, apparently. You think so too? He's safe. I know he has his doubts, but he's one of the crew now. Himiko and I won't let anyone harm him. Himiko's the kind of person that gives off her own light. Even though we're traveling across the train's old route, you can see Himiko's dreams flashing before her eyes when you look at her. It's almost as if she's been on the train from the very beginning, always moving starward.
Okay, so this line has an entire different meaning if you played Honkai Impact 3rd, especially when he says Himiko's the kind of person that gives off her own light, and you think back at Final Lesson and you're like, yeah, I know. She does.
Pom-Pom's always there to lend a helping hand, but I'd refrain from teasing them if I were you. The last person that did that.
Okay, does this line imply that the last person could be Void Archives? And I would love... I try to imagine an altercation between Void Archives and Pom-Pom. That would be the funniest thing ever. And something that I really need to see. Hoyoverse, please make it happen. Yeah, Void Archives got ratioed by Pom-Pom. Okay, so this is his interactive voices. Okay, let's get to the story. Character details. The wise and experienced former anti-entropy sovereign who inherited the name of the world, wealth. He has saved Earth from annihilation time and time again. After the incident with Saint Fontaine came to a close, Welt had no choice but to venture with the initiator of the incident to the other side of the portal. Perhaps even he did not expect the new journey nor companions that awaited him there. Yeah, so this again talks about APHO and how he and Void Archives had no choice but to venture to the other side of the portal, which I imagine is the Stargate, the big Stargate that we see at the end of APHO2. Again, reinforcing the fact that he got here through that incident, and he didn't return to Earth and found another way. But again, this is just my theory, but it seems very plausible with the amount of information we get from his story here. On the way to the portal, Welt took out a pen and started outlining a sketch. For the 8 years prior to that moment, he'd been repeating this job. Going back further in time, he would construct objects in a different way, as long as the images could be pictured in his mind. But he could never regard that as creation, because they were just the way the original is. Those had nothing to do with his mind. This is just the duty of the man who inherited the name of the world. If the world needed him, if the world needs him to save it, then he will become that hero without hesitation. He has fallen down many times and been mocked even more, but he will always stand before everyone, either in the past or in the future. He will never change. Only now he finds himself embarking on a new journey. Character story part 2. When Welt returned to that dangerous cosmic battlefield, he could feel his blood start to boil once more. Even when his spaceship lost power and was drifting aimlessly through space, he joked casually with his companion. The end of one adventure is often the beginning of another. When a passing by Himeko managed to save them and inform them that they couldn't go back home, he kept up his jokes. This is like something out of a cartoon, and it's far too coincidental to be real. Like really, life really is coincidental. Since he can't find his way back home and can't live out a peaceful existence for the time being, why doesn't he take up arms again and fight? This time there is no burden or destiny to bear. Everything shall obey his own will. And we have character story part 3. These days, Welt rarely fights, and it remains unknown whether or not he retains the strength from his heyday. Gravity manipulation has remained his usual combat means ever since his cane was transformed from the Star of Eden. He suppresses his enemy with gravity, even creating a kind of mini black hole. What he considered his everyday powers are met with amazement by the youngsters on the Express. Mr. Yang, incredible, amazing! If you need help with anything, Homo Labs, go ask Mr. Yang. Do you need to take turns? Let him rest a little while. He is shocked to realize that his carelessness and surety are the results of his countless experiences, marks of the relentless passage of time he had endured. However, the youths aboard the Express are like blank pieces of paper, writing out their own lives. What kind of responsibilities should he take on in their lives? He couldn't help but think of the names of the people throughout his life who had helped him before. Okay, so this is interesting. Like his gameplay in Star Rail, this shows us that he's fighting mostly using the Star of Eden, which has been transformed from into his cane in this game, and he's mostly using his powers from the divine key, and this again confirms that his Herrscher powers, which is the power of creation that he has from the Herrscher of Reason, are not as strong as they used to be. And for the last part, we are going to move to Star Rail Station because I don't have him maxed out, so I don't have that part in the game. Give me a second. Okay, so this is character story part 4, unlocked at level 80. Wel's log, blank blank blank. Blank's relationship with the protagonists. Blank's sparkling personality is just like the protagonist in a cartoon. Go for it. Blank. A lively youth. I hope she can keep being imaginative and not feel guilty even if she stumbles. Youths are always going to make mistakes, and Blank will be able to support her. Blank. A reliable youth. There's no need to worry about him. I hope he can chat more with Blank, but if he doesn't want to, then that's fine. Blank. I can trust this companion with my life. Blank believes she will make the right decision. Blank. A common character in cartoons, seemingly just a normal creature, but actually possesses frighteningly powerful abilities and a complicated background. Note, if I ever get back home, consider making a cartoon out of this. Alright, so I'm assuming that this is one of his notes that he takes from his from the everyday life from the Express, because due to some of his dialogue lines, he basically implies that he wants to make an anime based on the adventures that he has on the Express. So I'm assuming that that's what it is. But yeah, we don't really have a lot of answers from his story in the game. Only that he is still able to use some of his harsher powers, though they are much weaker than they were in his primes. He's mostly using the Star of Eden to fight. He talks a bit about the Honkai, but doesn't get into details. Same with the Sky People and Alien Space. Yeah, I'm really curious if they will reveal more about Welt and how he got here in the future, or I don't know. Maybe they will show us him returning to the world of Honkai Impact 3rd at some point. That also would be nice. Homo Labs, what is the next video? Honestly, Neko, I am not sure. I'm still not sure. Like I said in the beginning, I plan something, and it will be a new video series, but I don't know when it will come out. Hopefully in a few weeks. But I will not disclose any details about that video series yet. You'll find out more when the time comes. And I also want to make a Honkai Star Rail video. And honestly, I don't know which of the two will come out first. By the way, Homo, who is the little kid that looks like Joyce? In APHO, that's basically his son, who is a clone of the original Welt Joyce. That Welt adopted together with Tesla. And again, about Welt, I wanted to address something. I actually wanted to make a thread on Twitter about this, but I gave up on the idea because it's very polarizing and I don't know if it's worth it. About Welt and Tesla being married, we do not know that for sure. During APHO, in one of the dialogues, Adam has one line when he tells Carol that Welt is married, but judging from the context, he implies that, because soon after that, I think it's Carol who responds that, do we know for sure that he's married and he's not only just co-parenting with someone, with Tesla, who is supposedly Joy's mom. So yeah, even in the game, characters just assume that he's married. They never confirm that fact. So yeah, for everybody that says that Walt is married or Walt is not married, we don't know, honestly. Joyce said his mom is hot-tempered and red-haired and drunkard. Yeah, I'm not debating the fact that his mom is Tesla, because that's pretty obvious, but we are not sure if Walt and Tesla are married or a couple. They can just co-parent, you know, like Walt is the dad and Tesla is the mom, but they don't have a romantic relationship between the two. They are just co-parenting. Again, we do not know. They never confirmed. Hopefully APHO3 will give us some answer on that, because it's frustrating to see that discourse between people. Oh, he's married. No, he's not. The answer is we do not know. We genuinely do not know. Okay, let's move to Mr. Luocha. Character introduction. Carrying a coffin whenever he goes. He is a foreign trader who came to from beyond the stellar seas. Has excellent medical skills. Which we saw during the story quest, right? And also he's busted in the game. Excellent medical skills is an understatement of this man's ability to keep my entire party alive. Did you catch the secret extra scene after Luocha's mission? Yes, I saw that.
I'm a traveling merchant, merely passing through. The name's Luocha.
Guys, I will be honest with you. I literally can't take this man seriously. I can hear his smugness in his voice, and honestly, the English voice actor for him is so fitting, because if I imagine Otto having an English voice, this is the exact voice I would imagine for him, and only hearing him pisses me off. Also, Capi, thank you for becoming a member. I really appreciate it. Like, I don't know, maybe if you're not familiar with Aro and you only see Luocha, you can hear him and take him seriously, but I just can't. I don't know, he's just pissing me off.
We got up early to press on with our journey. Did you sleep well last night? Have an early rest. I'll keep watch here. I have no one to rely on as a traveling merchant. There is at least some security when I have some ways of saving myself. The coffin draws attention. As a traveling merchant, it helped me a lot. Everyone is curious about the coffin, so they come up to ask me about it. As I answer them, the business is done.
Okay, so this is just messed up. So he's basically saying that he is using the fact that he carries around the coffin to to get people to come and ask about the coffin, so he can basically sell them stuff.
There are always differences between what I hear about a place and seeing it with my own eyes. Finding out the differences between these perceptions is my joy.
I'm sure. I'm sure. Homo Labs, Kevin is Kianaverse, right? What do you mean by that, Neko? Kianaverse? If you ask me if Kevin is a male version of Kiana, then yes, he is. At least in GGZ. And implied to be in Honkai Impact as well.
When in a difficult situation, it's not so important to maintain who you truly are, but to find the suitable role to play. That's just my own experience.
Guys, I really want to punch him. Like, again, I'm the only one who thinks this line is very sus. In a difficult situation, it's not important to maintain who you truly are, but to find a suitable role to play. Like he's doing right now.
The meaning of a flower lies in the duration of its bloom, and not in its petals, aroma, or the seeds it leaves behind.
The meaning of a flower lies in the duration of its bloom, and not in its petals, aroma, or seeds it leaves behind. I don't know, I feel like there's more to this line, but I need to think about it more.
I have long heard that the Xianzhou can preserve their beauty, and have found that to be true. However, they keep this secret by hiding in a corner of the galaxy, like sitting on a mountain of wealth without spending it. What a shame. Not only is the general an expert in perceiving people's intentions, but he is also a master of the arts of concealment and showmanship. When he decides to show something, it's time to be careful. Oh, you mean the young boy? The one who's always by the general? I don't know anything about him. Unlike her, very few can realize that they are nothing but a tiny mustard seed in this vast galaxy. She is worthy of my respect.
What was that delivery? Did you hear that?
Unlike her, very few can realize that they are nothing but a tiny mustard seed in this vast galaxy. She is worthy of my respect.
Dude, he has true resentment when he says this line. Yeah, it's very sus.
It's hard to forget anything, Ting Yun says. The Foxian's talent with words should be utilized to its maximum potential. She's kind and always willing to help. She invited me to tea and storytelling the next time I'm on the Xianzhou. I'm not so sure about the storytelling. Sounds time-consuming.
Alright, let's move on to story. I don't know. These voice lines only made him even more sus. Give me a second to stretch a bit. My back. Okay, character details. A elegant and handsome, blonde young man who carries a giant coffin on his back. An intergalactic merchant, he was unfortunately caught in the Xianzhou Lofus Stellaron crisis. And that is how he found his mastery of medicine to come in handy. Okay. Character story, part 1. What's your occupation? Traveling merchant. What's the purpose of your entry? Commercial business. How do you vow not to violate the laws of and regulations of the Xianzhou Alliance, to conduct business activities in accordance with the law and not to conduct activities outside the scope of the visa permit? Of course, I will follow the law. Do you vow not to conduct any illegal research related to immortality? I promise. Great, please sign here. Mr. Luocha, welcome to Shenzhou Lofu. Okay. Part 2 is us. Okay, let's see part 2. Hey, do you still remember that guy? Came here often, carries a huge box. You mean Luocha? Yeah, Luocha, he's an outworlder, right? But from the way he works and speaks, he feels like those older Shenzhou natives. Has he lived here for long? But then again, he had kept his unique and exotic fashion style. Who knows? Maybe it's because his blonde hair doesn't match the clothing of Shenzhou. He would sometimes think of home. The devils, the church, the insanity, none of those are good memories. People would clamber to high places in groups just so they could witness their city's demise. If everything were to end, then there shall be at least one witness. Why do you still wear the clothes of your home world? Someone asked. It reminds me of the path I must keep treading, that is all, Luocha answered. Okay, so yeah, you were right, this is sus. Okay, so this dialogue implies that he is much older than a regular human would be, and then they talk about his home, which mentions devil, mentions a church, and yeah, a city where people witness its demise. Which, yeah, I would assume that his home world would be based on Kolostan. What if, same how Shenzhou is, what if we take the Shattered Swords visual novel and we make a world out of it? I would imagine that his home world is what if we take Kolostan and we make a world out of it. The people of Shenzhou do not recognize coffins. Each time Luocha emerged on the streets with the coffin, curious gaze followed. If someone were to ask him, what exactly is this, Luocha will answer vaguely, this is the toll of my trade. Tool of my trade, I hope I didn't offend you. Luocha stood in a pavilion in the exalting sanctum, murmuring to himself. But then again, our relationship does count as business relationship, doesn't it? The coffin responded with silence. Oh boy. Okay, let me find his last voice line in the... Alright, character story part 4. Luocha carried the coffin on his back and headed into the distance. The coffin made no sound. It did not protest and had no right to protest. When you keep silent, you are free. The curtains closed and he left the guilt behind. Guilt is just another weapon to be controlled, a lie one tells themselves to believe they will one day obtain a correct answer. What's so different about you? Is your pain more valuable and more moving than other people's? Go to the Shenzhou, the one who gave him the coffin said. Don't forget your promise. Never. Luocha promised, but silently made another vow. Alright, so yeah, his story in the databank is just as sus as I imagined it to be. I don't know, what do you guys think about him? I'm genuinely curious because it's clear as day that it's a lot more to his story than we know, and he's very, very sus. And he's planning something that nobody is aware of. It's agonizing to know that they are withholding so much information on him. I'm really eager to learn more. Yeah, me too. Like I said, I truly think that he will be one of those characters that will keep appearing through different parts of the story, and each time we will get a bit more about his story. I don't know, if I were to make an analogy, I would say that I hope Luocha will be the Dainsleif of Honkai Star Rail. Like, he will keep appearing through the main story, and each time he appears, we learn a bit more about him every time. I'm curious only about the coffin. Yeah, that's also interesting to see who is in that coffin. I've never seen a character more sus than Luocha from any Hoyo games. I don't know. I don't even think the Luocha is the most sus in Star Rail. For me, Sempo is more sus than Luocha at this point. Because and this is my perspective, right? With Luocha, you can see that you can very clearly see that he's hiding something, and that there's more to him, and that he has ulterior motives. But with Sampo, and this is just me, you can read that man. You can clearly see that he's not serious and that he's just fooling around, but you really have no idea from which direction to look at him, because he's such an enigma. I think Seele also has a huge chunk of story that's being kept from us, but rather than being a sus being like Luocha or Sempo, it just hasn't come up yet. I saw some people talking about the fact how Seele doesn't fit at all in the in Belobog's I don't know, aesthetic, and that maybe she's not really from Belobog and there's more to her. I don't know, we can do Seele next, especially since I have her at level 80, so we can read her entire story. That would be interesting. Okay, but before that, give me just 2 minutes. I will take a short break. I will go to the bathroom and do a couple of stretches, because I feel like my back is starting to hurt. I'll be right back. Alright, I am back. Yeah, like I said, we can do Seele next. I don't know if you guys saw this, but a few days ago they basically Hoyoverse posted on HoyoLab an image with the new battlesuit in Honkai Impact 3rd, which is a Seele battlesuit, and Star Rail Seele with the text butterflies meeting each other, which was very interesting. Everybody thought that maybe they are cooking some kind of collab, and some people even asked me if Dark Seele could be the same person as Honkai Star Rail Seele. I don't think so. I mean, that's an interesting perspective, but there's absolutely nothing that would, at least as far as I am aware of, that would link the two of them. And I think that's just Hoyoverse trying to promote Honkai Impact 3rd using a bit of Honkai Star Rail's popularity. But yeah, I mean, the truth is that I haven't read. I read, I think, one or two of her story entries. So I don't know. Maybe we'll find something that that's sus about her here. I was gonna ask you if you think that it means anything. Honestly, I don't think that it means anything. But I don't know. I may be proven wrong in the future. What do you think of Luocha? Well, we just did him, like I said. He's very sus, and I think that we will learn more about him as the story goes on. But I don't think that anything important about him will be revealed anytime soon. They'll keep using him to tease us. All right, let's start with Seele. Character introduction: a resident of the underworld and the backbone of Wildfire. She goes by the alias Babushka. She has a frank personality, but there is a delicate and sensitive hidden side to her deep in her heart. Okay, so this word Babushka is used in many Eastern European countries and Slavic countries, and from my understanding, in each country it has a slightly different interpretation or meaning. At least from where I am, which is Romania, which is another Eastern European country. I also saw this word to refer to an old witch, and it's usually told by parents to very young children to behave themselves, right? If you're a parent and I don't know, you have a 5-year-old child, you'll tell him that if he doesn't behave, Babushka will come and eat him. It means butterfly in Russian. That's interesting, because I always saw this word and I thought that since Belobog is meant to be inspired by Slavic countries, that that's they were going for. I thought that was Baba Yaga. I mean, like I said, it has it depends on the country, because I saw have different meanings. I saw some countries in which it's not even a witch, it's some kind of spirit. But yeah, if you guys say that it means butterfly in Russian, it's most likely probably that, and it's not the interpretation that I had. Or maybe it's both, I have no idea. Okay. Yeah, it's good that you pointed that out. Thanks for letting me know.
Hey, I'm Seele. I'm a member of Wildfire down here in the underworld. Want to help me forge a future for the people? Right on time. Let's start the patrol. Hey, you're about to fall asleep on your feet. Don't push yourself. I got this. Go get some rest. Me, as a child? Hook, times 10. We may live underground, but we won't be buried by the city. I like to keep my scythe sharp, so I can get a good night's sleep on it. I'm over it now, but when I was young, I used to keep my favorite comic books in the clinic. Then the other kids started borrowing them, permanently. The chief's right. Sometimes a sharp blade is the only way to get people to come to their senses.
The Ian voice suits her very well. Yeah, I agree. I wasn't so sure at first. Yeah, because honestly, at the beginning, I didn't really like neither Bronya or Seele's Ian voices. But as time passed, they really grew on me, and I think this suits Star Rail Seele very well. I don't think it would suit Honkai Impact 3rd Seele unless the voice actor would change a lot in the way she delivers the line. But for Star Rail, I think that it fits very well.
Can I see this pom-pom? Sounds like a talking teddy bear to me. I learned when I was a kid that temper tantrums won't get you anywhere with Nat. Let's just say she knew how to give you a taste of your own medicine. That girl doesn't talk much, but I know she doesn't see us as her enemy. Svarog's always going on about humanity's endless conflicts, but you don't get peace by offering everything up on a silver platter. If something needs doing, he might be your man. But if you feel like befriending him, do yourself a favor, don't. Don't let her appetite for chaos fool you. I think that kid's going places. I probably owe my life to the chief. It was the first time both of us had seen Belobog's real sky. The same sky.
Okay, so I'm guessing that the line about Bronya was locked until you finish the Belobog storyline, right? Because it's a spoiler, basically. Alright, character detail. A spirited and valiant member of Wildfire who grew up in the perilous underworld of Belobog. She's accustomed to being on her own. The protectors and the protected, the oppressors and the oppressed. The word Seele grew up knowing was just a simple dichotomy. That is, until that girl appeared. Which I'm assuming they're referring to Bronya, right? Character story, part 1. Seele's first fight in her life was for herself. Back then, she would wander aimlessly through the alleyways each day. When she was thirsty, she'd beg for water at the orphanage. When she was hungry, she'd swap scraps she found with the merchants for biscuits. Everyone in the dark side of Rivet Town knew that fearless and homeless girl, and everyone was keen to avoid this wild, stubborn little rascal. One hot evening, she felt very thirsty from too much playing. She arrived at the orphanage to discover the bucket containing water from the well is almost empty. Another shriveled homeless man was also there trying to get a drink, and after a power struggle which involved fists and even teeth, the man fled and Seele earned the right to stake her thirst alone. Seele saw the man 3 days later. Through the window of the clinic, she saw the wizened figure at death's door lying on a stretcher. Even since then, she's always left a little water in the bucket for the people coming later. Jesus, that was dark. Character story, part 2. As a child, Seele only ever went up to the overworld once. That was after she'd met Oleg, who at that time was still captain of the underworld Silvermane Guards. Oleg hid Seele in his supply bag one day and took her up to the overworld by cable car to give her a peek at the city she yearned for. Seele followed Oleg around the sights of Belobog, eating delicious food and dressing up in splendid clothes beyond her wildest imagination. She scared off a group of kids with her uncouth minor slang, which caused Oleg to burst out into laughter. Those 2 short days were full of joy and laughter. Before leaving that evening, they sat on a bench in the administrative district plaza as Seele stared at the restaurant opposite to them. Was the overworld fun, Seele? Wanna come back again later? Can I ask you something? What's up? Ask away. Those overworlders are only eating half their meals and threw the rest away? Do they know that people down below haven't got enough food to eat? Oleg saw how a look of gloom passed over her tender face. Let's go back, Oleg. I don't want to come back here again. All right. Why are all her story parts so dark? Character story part 3. Lying on the clinic's bed, Seele is finally able to calm herself as she silently thought over her experiences since becoming a member of Wildfire. Injuries and blood are routine occurrences for her. Seele has a better than average tolerance for pain, which allows her to fully unleash herself in combat, ignoring any lingering bumps and bruises. Wounds will always heal, just as the threat of the fragmentum will always grow, just as people always return to their boring lives once rescued. Sometimes a misconception would pop up in Seele's mind, as if time in the underworld had come to a standstill. It somehow seems that all the efforts she and Wildfire had made are all in vain. The doctor came over and gently asks about her injury. Seele struggles to organize words and conveys her confusion to the doctor. What's more important than miracles, Seele? The doctor says with a smile as she places her palm lightly on Seele's forehead. Is to protect people's hopes and miracles. Okay, and the last one, character story part 4. The administrative district plaza is a crowded place, and it's where almost half the residents of Belobog are now gathering. Suppressing her disdain for bustling crowds, Seele scans across the faces of the plaza with her careful gaze. Her handwork pays off, and she soon locks onto her target. A man wearing a grey hat, his hands in the pockets, is scouting back and forth through the crowds while slyly looking from side to side with a sharp expression. After confirming that nobody is watching, at least so he thinks, the man reaches out to grab the satchel of the woman beside him. But before his fingers could reach the bag's zip, a slender but forceful hand quickly grabs his wrists. He nearly cries out with the pain, but Seele claps her other hand over his mouth. Not a peep from you. The majestic cry of horns resounds throughout the skies, and the bustling crowd falls silent immediately. A man in a comical outfit rushes to the podium and shouts in a piercing voice. Ladies and gentlemen, for the ribbon-cutting part of this ceremony, please welcome to the stage the Supreme Guardian herself, Madame Bronia Rand. Deafening cheers erupt from the plaza. Seele quietly pulls the pulls the pickpocket out of the crowd during the ruckus and escorts him to the Silvermane guards on duty. She turns to look back at the distant stage and briefly locks eyes with the woman in the white dress. The Supreme Guardian flashes her an ever so brief smile and Seele nods slightly in response. And then they go their separate ways, one stepping into the light, the other into the shadows. One day they will finally meet again. Okay, so this last part reminded me of Kiana and Mei when they fought in Nagazora, with one steps in the light and the other in the shadows. But yeah, honestly, not much about Seele. Her lore seems very sad, if anything. It's not as sus as Luocha. I don't know, the only sus thing that I could say about her is the fact that she has no real parents. She was just found by Oleg and he gave her the name Seele. So we don't really know anything about her origins, but other than that, she yeah, her lore is sad, is sad, but not sus at all. It's like there's a chunk missing. Yeah, I agree with you there, right in the beginning. Yes, how strong is Kiana? I mean, she's the Herrscher of Finality. She is supposedly extremely strong. She is called the Goddess of the Earth, and she basically merged with the cocoon itself. So I would assume that she's capable of, at least in the world of Honkai Impact 3, she should be the strongest being at the moment. But I don't know. I don't think it is there any worth in doing aimlessly power scaling of the characters, since we know very little about how these characters interact with each other. I saw many debates on how strong is the Cocoon of Finality against Eons and such things, which in my opinion are pointless arguments, because they are very different in nature, and we lack a lot of information about both parties to properly make an assessment on that. Seele's powers are a massive outlier compared to the rest of Belobog, where most characters use a weapon or tool to their elemental stuff. Seele just teleports and displays it in story 2. Yeah, I can see that. I could see her origins being tied to the Sea of Quanta in some way. But since there are so few references of the Sea of Quanta in Honkai Star Rail, I don't know. What's the deal with the Honkai Impact and the Honkai Star Rail Seele's meeting poster on the social media? Jose, we have no idea. For now, the only assumption we can make is that it's a promotional thing for the new battlesuit in Honkai Impact 3rd. We have no information of them being directly connected in any way, shape or form. So I would take that image with a huge grain of salt and think of it as just purely promotional material until Hoyoverse comes out and tells us for sure that it's a connection or a collab or something like that. Alright, who should we do next? Let's go with Silverwolf. Character introduction. A member of the Stellaron Hunters and a genius hacker. She sees the universe as a massive, immersive simulation game and has fun with it. She's mastered the skill known as ether editing, which can be used to tamper with the data of reality. Interesting.
Hey, you seem pretty cool. That Stellaron hasn't affected you at all? You're online today too? Done everything you needed to? Good. Don't want to climb into bed only to realize you forgot to finish your dailies. Bye-bye.
Okay, Silverwolf, you don't have to remind me.
It's the same as my screen name. Isn't yours?
Now she's breaking the fourth wall.
I wish this universe had a few more things to do. Don't you get bored running across the map every day? Prometheus is equipped with 4 modules. Friend is the most talkative. Friends are fated. A toast to our friendship.
Okay, so this is very interesting. Like I said in the past, basically Silverwolf is a walking Honkai Impact 3rd reference. Because if my understanding is correct, Prometheus are her weapons. And of course, they are named after after Prometheus and Honkai Impact 3rd, which is technically not Bronya, but it's an AI from the previous era that looks like Bronya, but she's completely different. But yeah, it's a nice callback.
Burying my head under a pillow for a siesta. And pinching cute things. Nobody gets to open an alt account. Not even Elio. When I hacked into the space station, I thought I may as well make some changes to Skrullum's portrait, but I changed it back in the end. My favorite games always update on the same day. Do you think it's deliberate? Ignoring the rules is something Kafka and I have in common. He said he'd game with me once his hand healed up, but it seems like it still isn't any better.
Okay, this is something I would like to see. I don't know why Hoyo makes a billion versions of Bronya in every game. I mean, what's wrong with that? And we all know that Bronya is the real CEO of Hoyoverse, right? I mean, that's clear as day. So it's not really Hoyo that's making a million versions of Bronyas in every game, it's Bronya making a million versions of herself in every game. Alright, character details. The universe is just another game to this super hacker. No matter how thorny the defense system, Silverwolf can crack it with ease. Her hacking battle with Skrullum of the Genius Society has become stuff of legends in the hacking world. How many more levels are there to beat in the universe? Silverwolf looks forward to finding out. She toyed with the joystick, day in, day out. A fast food restaurant with only one employee, a basement turned into an arcade hall, several old arcade machines, this was her childhood. She didn't have a legal name or an identity number, only a nickname the proprietress of choose for her. She did not have any friends, but she is not lonely. She liked the game of Pong, 2 lines and a dot of light, the simplest of ball games. She could play it for a whole day. She liked Battle Wheel 32, 8 blocks of different colors on a matrix drawn sky. There was only one rule, win, no matter what. She liked geometric wars. Odysseus, and Star Cheetah. The score records on those games were filled with astronomical numbers left by other patrons. She toyed with the joystick, day in, day out, until one day only one name remained on all the records. She set down the joystick and looked around the empty basement. Many people have sought respite in this place, but few stayed behind. Many have left, but few returned. She blinked and turned off the screen. That night, the only employee at the fast food restaurant said goodbye to the proprietress and became the next person to leave. The game called Basement ended that night. Okay, so I'm assuming this is her backstory from back in Punk Lord. Character story part 2. She traveled west through the barren land, arriving at Mount Scrap. She wants to find a job, but was obstructed by her tendency to be a loner. On Punk Lord, almost everyone works in teams. Loners usually don't last long. Acquiescing to her situation, she fabricated some virtual partners. Her first one was called Friend, of course it was. Her second was Demon Lord, inspired by a poster she saw on the streets. In her imagination, it was a veteran who had lost the ability to speak. She suddenly thought this term was too harmonious and lacked realism, so she named the third one White Collar and the fourth Servant. Her final one was called Preschool Classmate. There wasn't a special meaning attached to this, she just really ran out of ideas. After much deliberation, she deleted this last person from her list. She stored her partners in an intelligent weapon so she could pompously introduce her sizable team to intermediaries. She got her first job. Its risk was as unimaginable as its reward. Maybe she sold herself too well that people believed her, or they just wanted to see this newbie's performance, dead or alive. On Punk Lord, almost everyone works in teams. Loners usually don't last long. Those who could last would eventually become legends. After 24 system hours, she walked out of the Slag Gang's base, alone and through the front gate. The intermediary was silent. They looked at her, then at the sky, before turning around to toss a chest full of gold ingots on the ground. The game called Mount Scrap ended that day. Character story part 3. She stood at the top of the tallest building in the Rainbow City, from which she could see her birthplace. A fast food restaurant with only one employee, a basement turned into an arcade hall, several old arcade machines. This was her childhood. She remembers liking the game. Wait, isn't this the first? Yeah, this is identical with the first. Whatever. She remembers liking the game of Pong, 2 lines and a dot of light, the simplest of ball games. She could play it for a whole day. Just like how right now the crimson lights of the horde of drones fill the night sky in crisscrossed line. Wave by wave they swarm her, and wave by wave they fell. Okay, yeah, this is more detailed. She remembered liking Battle Wheel 32. 8 blocks of different colors on a matrix drawn sky. There was only one rule: win, no matter what. Just like how right now distinct colors split the internet into 8 regions, and people from all kinds of organizations gather in the square for a singular goal: to capture Silverwolf, no matter the cost. She remembered liking Geometric Wars, liking Odysseus, and liking Star Cheetah. The score records on these games were filled with insurmountable astronomical numbers. Just like how right now, wait, no, only this is somewhat different. Insurmountable, ha, what's that? She stood at the top of the tallest building in the Rainbow City, from which she could see her birthplace. She has climbed too high for another person to stand beside her. However, she looked up even higher than before. She can see the starry skies within reach of her hand, but yet so impossibly far. So boring. The game called Rainbow City ended that day. Okay, so I'm assuming Rainbow City is another name for Punklord, right? Or it's a city in Punklord. And this is when she decided to leave. Okay, let me find the last part. Okay, this is a long one. Give me a second. Character story, part 4. She stood on a chair and dusted the screen of the arcade machine in circular motions again and again, trying to wipe away each particle of dust on it. She returned to that fast food restaurant to the basement. She opened the door and everything was where they used to be. The proprietress kept all the arrangements for her. The soft pink light spilled on the screen like the neon lights in the city, reminding her of the starry skies she saw on that day. She was not the first to reach the top of that building and not the first to have gazed upon those starry expanses. She knew that the story of Zero, the greatest hacker and most terrifying player in the era of internet wars. He caused the first global network paralysis just to summon the IPC's escort ship to his doorstep. She thought of Sage, the creator of the ether editing technology, a weirdo who named himself after the dead. To leave the planet, he was willing to discard his physical flesh, raid into the dark zone, and became a wraith eternally wandering the interstellar network. She recalled Stoneblade, the pride of Mount Scrap. His tales of resisting the Oasis Zone were oft told among families in the Barren Lands. Some said he eventually left with the Galaxy Rangers, continuing his rebellious spark in the galaxy. His lover, Twin Snake, a celebrity in the Oasis Zone. Her whereabouts were widely disputed, and all the people knew was their birth, and all people knew that their birth could not stop. Okay, give me a second. And all people knew was that their birth could not stop them from being together, but the galaxy eventually parted them. On Punklord, any hacker who can be called legendary has ended up with the same fate. As the legend of the current era, she knew that she has already arrived at that threshold. Clop clop, she hears footfalls coming from above her, getting closer, closer. 1, 2, 3, 4 people. A man, a woman, a metal humanoid, and she sat down, turned around and looked around the empty basement one last time before turning to the person at the door. I'll join. The game called Punklord ended that day. Okay. A man, a woman, a metal humanoid, and so this is when she joined the Stellar Hunters, right? Or at least this is how I understood this. Metal humanoid could be Sam. I mean, yeah, it could be. I mean, we have the woman is most likely Kafka. A man, I mean, that could be Blade. Metal humanoid, maybe Sam, and one last person. I don't know, maybe Elio. Isn't Sam Sempo? I mean, that's just a theory. We have no idea. It's not confirmed to be Sempo. Better hydrate yourself after that much talking. Yeah, don't worry. I have a glass of water near me, and I occasionally take a sip of water from it. Could Elio be the cat in Kafka's art? I mean, I saw many people theorizing that, and honestly, it would be interesting. Hello, Astolfo. Sam's name is written with different Hanzi than Sam in Sampo. I see. So yeah, that may be one stone to debunk the theory that Sampo might be a Stellar Hunter. But yeah, I still up to debate. But yeah, Sam could also be this metallic creature. Who is Sam? Sam is another Stellaron hunter, like Kafka, Blade, and Silverwolf. So is Elio relative to Stan? I mean, maybe, who knows? Maybe Elio is a Stan from another world. And for those of you who don't know, Stan is a Honkai beast that looks like a cat, and she's currently Durandal's cat in Honkai Impact 3rd. Yeah, Dudu's cat. So Stan and Sam? No, Stan and Elio. If the theory that the cat in Kafka's art is truly Elio. Yeah, other than that, her backstory is pretty clear. There's no mysteries here. And I still see a lot of people thinking that she's Brani from Honkai Impact 3rd, which by this point I think we are pretty sure, we are 99% sure that she's not. She's just another Bronya in the vastness of the universe. But yeah, it's true that she has a lot of elements similar to Brani, but they are different people. Alright, who should we do next? Did Welt, Silverwolf, Seele, Luocha? Let's do Danheng, since I almost said Battlesuit was announced from Danheng. I have Honkai Impactor brain rot. A new version of Danheng was announced as playable in the future. You can read the others on the wiki if you don't have them. Bailu Story 4 has some interesting foreshadowing. I think we'll do that, because I think that Bailu is also connected with Danheng's story, so I think we go Danheng, and after that I'll go and read Bailu on Star Rail Station. Anyway, a character introduction. A cold and reserved young man who is reticent about his past. To avoid his kin, he decided to travel with the Astral Express. Interesting.
I should reintroduce myself. My name is Dan Heng. I'm the guard on the Express. I also administer the train's databank.
Homolabs, is there any character that has ticked your fancy so far? Honestly, we kinda went already through the characters that I'm mostly interested in. Right now only Dan Heng and Bailu, who I want to particularly read. Himeko's story is probably one of the best. Yeah, but I already read Himeko's story. I read it when I made the video about her. So yeah, she's one of the... I think she's the only character that I fully read, and the others I only read bits and pieces.
I updated the databank entries today, if you wanted to look anything up. Time to turn in already? Thanks for the reminder. It's easy to lose track of time in the archives. Before you know it, a whole day's gone by. See you tomorrow. I come from an alliance, and was born on a grand and beautiful ship that I barely had the chance to see. I can never return.
Yeah, and I'm very curious, why was he banned from stepping foot on Luofu again, since the description they gave us in the drip marketing is that he was the guardian of the ambrosial arbor. So I'm very curious, why did they exile someone in such a high position?
At that time, I had nowhere to go but the Express. Cloudpiercer is always with me, for my safety and the safety of everyone else.
Okay, so Cloudpiercer is the name of his spear, right?
It's not really a hobby, but I used to read a lot. If you're not there to look something up, then please don't enter the archives. It's not a place for chit-chat. As vast as the universe is, it cannot change its past.
Okay, this is another interesting line. As vast as the universe is, it cannot change its past. I don't know, maybe I'm reading too much into it, but maybe this is in reference to the fact that you, like we saw in chapters 26 and through 28 in Honkai Impact with the whole Colostan arc, and Aro explaining how you can't travel back in time. Maybe this is something that reiterates that you can't change the past no matter what you try. Or maybe it's just something related to his backstory and I'm reading too much into it. Who knows?
Once there are sufficient records in the databank, the flow of individuals will link together seemingly independent events. March's weakness is that she likes to get involved in other people's business. Perhaps that's also her strength. If you have questions about the Express, Himiko can give you the best answer. Mr. Yang is a very compassionate person, but thankfully, he doesn't pry. My intuition tells me that it would be unwise to provoke the conductor.
Okay, so if there is any constant in this character voice lines, is the fact that you shouldn't mess with Pom Pom. Yeah, even for Dan Heng I only have 2 entries. I mean 1 entry, because the first one is just his details. Alright, character details. A cold and reserved young man who wields a spear known as Cloudpiercer. Okay, so we have confirmation it's his spear. He acts as the Express's guard on its long trailblazing expedition. Dan Heng never talks much about his past. In fact, he joined the Express to escape from a past of his own making. But can the Express really help him outrun his past? Spoiler alert, it can't, as we can see in the current storyline. Character story part 1. A new dawn begins. It's just another extremely average day aboard this giant ship. The markets have just opened and the morning dew is still fresh. But the young man crossing the street has never seen such a sight. Before he manages to notice all the differences between the actual city and the descriptions in the book, he is immersed in savoring the warmth of the sun on the back of his neck. It is his first time seeing his own body clearly. This body belongs to him. It belongs to this current name. When he arrives at the port, the escorting soldier removes the last of his shackles. She walks forward without looking back. He can feel, ever so faintly, several pairs of eyes gazing at him within the city. Eyes filled with hatred. It isn't until the spaceship takes off that he turns his head and takes one final look at this place. It really is a magnificent and grand spaceship, just like the books say. He only glances at it once, then turns his head away to where the stars shimmer dimly and an uncertain future lies. He looks out in silence. Okay, so his first character story is already pretty sus. Yeah, right into it. Okay, let me find his character story. Give me a moment. Dan Hung. Right. Character story part 2. A new dawn begins. He steps off one of IPC's spaceship, then boards another. He'd never even heard of the ship's destination, but that doesn't matter. There is nowhere he particularly wanted to go. His only goal is to get as far away as possible from his past, from his home. On these spaceships, people come and go all the time. None of the IPC crews cares who he is, so long as he can work. He has changed his appearance and might no longer be recognized, but he knows the same power still lurks within him, unable to be shaken off no matter where he goes. This power drags him down, slows him, tries to overwhelm him, and makes him unable to escape his past. He has to be careful, but he still can't shake off the man with the beastly eyes. If others in his homeworld felt hatred towards him, then that man only has a killing intent towards him. Even the spaceships he had traveled on were all annihilated. That man has died before him, but would reappear soon after. Outside his homeworld, there's a larger world where anything is possible. Okay, so this is about when he was working for the IPC. He changed his appearance to what I assume is how he looks now, as Dan Heng. Again, now that we had the reveal with his drip marketing, this makes a lot more sense. And we know that we still don't know the reason why, but we know that Blade is after his life. Character story, part 3. A new dawn begins. He boards another spaceship, and the passengers are all wearing different masks. He nearly has his memory stolen and is forced to listen to a lecture that sounded like mad rambling. He knows that huge monsters prowl upon this route, but he could only find a way towards survival by traveling along the most dangerous of roads. He defeats the huge monsters and disembarks at the next port. He thinks he could remain undetected among the countless ships, but he is stopped by a redheaded woman. She salutes him in thanks, saying she is with one of the ships he had rescued. He is about to turn and leave when he sees a parked train besides the redheaded woman. Where's your next stop? Haven't decided yet. Then would you like to board our express? We're retracing our previous journey. There's so much to see all over again. We need a guard and an archiver. You can get off anytime once you made up your mind on where to go. Alright. Okay, so I'm assuming this is when he traveled with the morning actors, right? At the beginning. Because I remember somewhere mentioning that at some point he also traveled with the morning actors. And the last part is when he met Himiko and joined the Express. Yeah, redhead woman is Himiko. Character story part 4. A new dawn begins. He rubs his eyes, realizing it has been too long since he had such a good night's sleep. He considers himself as only staying temporarily and refused the rooms specially prepared for him, making a simple bed on the floor of the archives. However, he stayed up all night reading the databank. At some point, he drifted off to sleep. He opened the door to find the conductor standing there, reprimanding him for staying up late. Otherwise, he'd miss out on a piping hot breakfast and would have wasted the care put into it. He nods and the conductor quietens down in satisfaction, wobbling as they led him into the passenger car. The redhead woman, who he now knows is named Himeko, flashed him a smile. The brunette man to the other side, Mr. Yang, remains silent despite appearing to have many questions on his mind. Before he knew it, he'd spent many a morning just like this. The process of revisiting the route is not easy, mostly due to the numerous roadblocks caused by the Stellar Run. Sometimes they would encounter the huge monster he'd defeated before. They even found an enormous clunk of floating ice, encased in which was a living girl. That's why he wasn't very surprised when he detected that the boy/girl named Trailblazer has an actual Stellar Run sealed inside his/her body. The Express's journey will continue on. Is there anything beyond the realm of possibility? Okay, so this is basically the last part. Yeah, I would say that the most sus entries are the earlier ones, because now we know that he was exiled from Lofu for whatever reason, and apparently the people there hate him. So I don't know if he failed to properly do his duties as the guardian of the Ambrosial Arbor, or something else happened. And why does Blade want to kill him so badly? Yeah, well, let's go and also read Bailu, since I think that she's also relevant for Danheng's story, since both of them are Vidyahara. Must be related to his immortality. Yeah. You know, let's go with her voice lines first.
I'm Bailu, a doctor from the Alchemy Commission. Come here and let me have a look at you. What's wrong? Where does it hurt?
Homo Labs, do you think that Himeko is hiding something as well? That there's another reason why she wanted them to join the Express? I mean, Himeko... I don't think that she has ulterior motives. I mean, she may be, but... from her story, she's alright with pretty much anyone joining the Express if they want to, because for her, journeying with the Express is it's like a journey where people can join to search meaning for their life, to explore the universe, to find out more about themselves. So I think that she only saw the Trailblazer as someone without memories who was lost and found themselves in such a special predicament by having a Stellar Run inside them. And I only think that she thought that they're a good fit for the Express, and she genuinely hopes that it will help us come to terms with this and find out more about her past.
Do you want candy? No? Huh. Then I'll have it.
Okay, let me know, is it too loud? Because I know that the sound on the web is a bit different.
I have to go back now. Please, just a little bit longer. Do I even count as a dragon? What kind of a dragon can't step out of her own house and has to obey the rules of the clan? I'd say I'm more like a fish in a fishbowl. Lunch is like medicine. It has to have the right balance of ingredients. 2 smoked patties and a cup of milk tea is a great way to heal your heart and lift your spirits. Study medicine, find herbs, and broaden my horizons. Everything can be used as a medicine. The rarer a disease is, the bolder the prescription must be. There's only one ailment that I can't cure, and that is being short! Putting my head in the water, and though it is a small area, I feel I can breathe freer than before, far beyond the boundaries of the water. A patient told me that the Garden of Gourmet released a new dessert called Fallen from the Skies. The sugar threads are super long. But I can't get my hands on it. The general comes to me with ailments such as too tired to stay awake, and then he just asks how I've been and leaves after sitting around for a while. Sometimes he doesn't even take any medicine from me. Whenever diviner food is over time, we start running out of sugar powder for the medicinal eye-soothing tea. Helm Master Yukong. She says she lets everything go every time she sees me, but I don't think she has. Ting Yun can endure more intense massages than other people, so I never show her mercy. Even if I don't step outside, I can still hear her. Be eager to help those in need. That's her, right? I just wish I met the inventor of Celestial Jade earlier. This activity is great for both physical and mental health. It needs to get popularized.
Okay, so her voice lines are more so funny than anything. And it's nothing really new that we don't learn in her companion quest. So let's see the story. Character details. A vivacious young lady of the Vidyahara race, she is known as the Healer Lady due to her expertise with medicine. She often dishes out unorthodox prescriptions such as stay well hydrated and get a good night's rest. Bailu cannot bear to see people suffer, and that's why you'll see her with her eyes shut tightly as she cures ailments. As long as they're cured, that's all that matters, right? Himeko is the opposite of Elio. Elio manipulates people's future for the future he wants, whereas Himeko gives people a chance to find their own future the way they want. I mean, that's a very interesting perspective. I like that. Character story, part 1. Alchemy Commission collected treatment histories, volume 48, case study 1246. Presiding physician, Bailu. Patient, US Hui, female Foxian, age 62. Complaint: accidentally ate a chocolate drop sold by an outworder trader. Experienced extreme thirst leading to excess drinking. Aching all over, particularly in the stomach, shortness of breath and loss of big clumps of tail hair. Diagnosis: food poisoning. Prescription: bitter ginseng, 1 mace, raw licorice, 1 mace and 1 candarine, 5-grain jade elixir, 1 bottle. Things you should know about forbidden food, 1 copy. Forbidden Foods, 1 copy. Usage: boil bitter ginseng and licorice in the 5-grain jade elixir until reduced to half volume. Strain to remove dregs. Drink as much as you like until you vomit. Copy out the pamphlet Things You Should Know About Forbidden Foods 500 times until it's stuck in your head. Remarks: a classic case of food poisoning. Viscera lesions already healed with draconic ichor. It should suffice to take emetics as prescribed, which will effectively remove any residual poison through vomiting. I should further note that everyone knows that even the strongest, hardiest long-life Foxians cannot eat chocolate. Also, for minor alignments such as this, do not make the patient wait too long. Just wake me up. Moreover, couldn't you find me some more challenging cases? Are you trying to waste my talents? Oh boy, so this is a nod to the fact that many animals can eat chocolate, and since Foxians are fox people, they get sick if they eat chocolate. Okay, that's funny. Character story, part 2. Alchemy Commission collected treatment histories, volume 73, case study 582. Presiding physician, Bailu, patient, Jin Wei, female Vidyahara, age 13 days and 40 hours. Complaint: patient undergoes cycles of hatching, rebirth every few months. Her growth is 100 times faster than a normal Vidyahara. Diagnosis: rebirth abnormality, extremely rare, a 1 in a million condition. Prescriptions: no available medicine. Drink plenty of hot water. Usage: not applicable. Remarks: well, this is one of those difficult cases, the sort I unfortunately am unable to treat. The mechanism underlying the hatching rebirth of Vidyahara remains a mystery. Some healers take the view that Vidyahara use the rebirth cycle to repair injuries sustained during their long life cycle, but such a notion clearly does not apply to the patient's situation. I have tested her blood and marrow and had her ingest translucent worms to allow a thorough examination of her brain, but I found no deceased parts. Ah, what a marvel life! What a marvel life is! Even long-life species exempt from aging and death are not entirely immune to the ravages of disease. It is the same as regards my own health. It is now 6 or 7 years since I first sprouted horns, but I have not grown taller in that time. I am sure it is because I have those horrid preceptors watching over me all day long. If a child does not get out to run about, how will it grow tall? Healers who read this case study, when will you release me? I am not some truly wicked ne'er-do well. Why am I so closely guarded? It makes me so very angry. A scowling horned face has been drawn at the foot of this page. Yeah, vertically challenged. Isn't this lady the one that's in front of the inn? That you talk with her and she says that she basically is hatching again every month, and the partners from her romantic partners from her previous lives keep pestering her. Because I remember an NPC that you can talk with in front of the Petrishore Inn that has a similar case. Anyway, yeah, I can see that this goes a bit more in depth into the rebirth cycling of the Vidyahara, which I assume has also something to do with their lineage, because of Long, since he was the Eon of Permanence, and Permanence is basically very similar with the concept of immortality, eternity. So I would assume that that's why the Vidyahara race has this power. Character Story Part 3. Alchemy Commission Collected Treatment Histories, Volume 128, Case Study 39, Presiding Physician Bailu. Patient, Jin Yuang, Shenzhou native of indeterminate age, though the Ten Lords Commission surely knows. Complaints. Tightness of chest and shortness of breath, drowsiness, eye too tired to keep open. This consultation is a routine, repeat checkup. Diagnosis. Coop inside the seat of the divine foresight for far too long. Prescription. 1 serving of garlic infused pork, 1 serving of crisped melon and diced chicken, 1 serving of pork slices in fish sauce, 1 serving of Granny Chan's tofu, 1 crispy suckling pig, and 1 cup of Hunter Maofeng tea. Usage. Just eat it. It will make him feel full. Then naturally he'll want to get out and about to work it off, which will also improve his mood. Remarks. The general comes to see me about his health every year, complaining of symptoms such as tight chest and shortness of breath, or struggling to keep eyes open, and wanting me to give him a checkup. The movement of the general's ki is extremely vigorous, and there is no signs of affliction by strange diseases or being stricken with Mara. Although such things are at the province of the Ten Lords Commission, I always exercise special caution in this regard. It is my view that he is simply bored senseless and has slipped out to rove about when he found some free time. If that were not the case, why show up every time with a box of sweetmeats, nuts and candies and whatnot to plunk himself down and start shooting the breeze with me? How is my health? Have I had any dreams lately? How have I been eating? He's more like the doctor than I am. I do very much enjoy chatting with the general. He's not like those old so-and-sos, no grand airs, likes to joke around and tease, and he often tells me about the parts of the world he's been on expeditions to. All sorts of marvelous stuff. How I would love to leave doctoring behind and head off to the ends of the earth with the swords in the hand. Okay, so this is just Jin Yuang being Jin Yuang. Homo Labs, what does the dragon says to the Eon of Abundance? It's a long story. Okay, you're getting banned. Immortality is like abundance. Yeah. Which the Sanctus, the disciples of Sanctus Medicus follow. Okay, the last part. Character Story Part 4. Greetings, esteemed preceptors. Star calendar blank. Day of blank month. Blank routine examination of Lady Bailu. Concise notes as follows. Still no physical change in the High Elder. She has not grown. This is not unusual, as slow development is common among Vidyaharas. I am more concerned about her having no dreams than the slow growth of her body. All past High Elders, after receiving the Orb of the Abyss and the Transmutation Arcanum, will re-experience the events of their dragon ancestors' lives in dreams. The office of these sources is changed with transcribing, retelling and annotating these dreams, and their files run to an enormous numbers of volumes. Although such dreams tend to be fragmentary and difficult to understand or interpret, it is, after all, the only way our kind have of coming close to the permanence. Yet Lady Bailu has experienced nothing of this sort. It is apparent that either her dragon heart is in some way damaged, or the Transmutation Arcanum has not been carried through in full. Furthermore, since the High Elder has already demonstrated her powers of calling lightning and commanding the waters, I have instructed one of the finest crafters to make the dragon horn pillory to shackle her tail to prevent a loss of control over her powers, and repeat of the disaster of the sedation of Imbibitor Lunae. Also, we received a missive from Calorum Venti of the Yao Qing some months ago, inquiring into the present condition of Lady Bailu. I have replied as you instructed, esteemed elders. The gist of my reply was that Lady Bailu is still young and in need of the assistance of the preceptors. Only after her coming of age ceremony will the preceptors confer the title of Imbibitor Lunae to her. Respectfully yours, Yunyu, attendant of the High Elder. Okay, so maybe this is the most interesting entry, right? We learn that she is basically the one who will inherit the title of elder from Imbibitor Lunae, which we now know that is Dan Heng. And they mentioned the disaster of the sedation, the disaster of the sedation of Imbibitor Lunae, which I'm assuming it's what happened to Dan Heng, what made the people on the Luofu hate and exile him, right? So this is very interesting. I'm sure that we will learn more about this incident in the next story part, and when his companion quest will inevitably come out. Yeah, and we also learned that she is some kind of anomaly. In that she doesn't have these dreams that all the other elders before her had about their past lives. Interesting. Right, switch. Maybe this anomaly is connected to Dan. I mean, who knows? Or maybe this is something that is related only to Bailu, and it's something that something related to her. Maybe she's special in some sense. Yeah. Anyway, I think that I will stop here for today with the character stories. Honestly, these were longer than I expected. I think we did let me see how many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Only 6 in, let's say, 2 hours. Yeah, I'll have to get through the rest of them on... I think I will get to them on my own, I don't know. Because this is something that I wanted to do for myself, so I thought that if I'm going to do this, why not stream it at the same time? But I don't know when I'll be able to stream next time. And I honestly don't want to wait until I'll be able to stream to continue. So maybe I'll continue on my own and eventually do another stream finishing these off. Maybe next week. You need to wait after the Shenzhou story is finished for a clear explanation. Yeah. Yeah, I imagine that... I mean, I hope that they will give us a clear explanation and not just leave us in the air. But yeah, I will stop here for today and go grab something to eat and like Silver Wolf said, maybe do my dailies on all 3 games and relax for the rest of the day. Anyway, but but Toyo will probably carry it to the future patches 1.4 and 1.5. Then we go to a new planet. I mean, I'm sure that we will have a few patches with the after story of Shen Zhao, and hopefully we'll visit a new planet pretty soon. But yeah, anyway, that's it for today. Thank you very much for joining. I really appreciate it. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye, take care.